All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our famous destination seminars. My name is Julian Thomas. I am the newest member of the Muse Collection, and I am broadcasting live from Boston, where we had events last night celebrating one of our partners. I see a few of you on the list that are joining Vivian and Beverly in New York City for lunch or dinner with one of our partners. And then tomorrow we'll be in DC. We also have Hallie touring all of California with our members, and we have Josh on a fan trip in Italy. So we are all over the place this week, but I'm bringing you to Sardinia today. So if you have not booked Sardinia yet, this is going to be a fantastic webinar for you to learn everything about the area, the traditions, and just the culture. So I'd love to introduce to you our Nadia Claudia. She is the owner of Italy My Way. So please welcome Nadia.
Hello, everyone. I'm pleased today to introduce this wonderful seminar. We will be talking about Sardinia, which is the brand new baby of Italy My Way. Um, we are very proud of this new baby because we have really the possibility to be um, almost the pioneers as a DNC to speak about Sardinia in a different way as we have made in all these years at Italy My Way in Italy, in the mainland, and Sicily as well. So Sardinia My Way, as I told you before, has the same style but efficiency of Italy My Way. And we have created this new office in Olbia, which is, let's say, about in the middle of the island, with real people managing it. And you will have the pleasure to get to know Sara, who is my Sardinia My Way director. And together with our staff who is present in Sardinia, they will have this local presence and deep knowledge of the region, which I almost would define country, because it's an island by itself, but not only an island, it's almost a continent. You can notice here Sardinia stands out in the Mediterranean. It is, in fact, the second biggest island of the Mediterranean. And it is an island which is full of everything: traditions, archaeology, culture, languages, and food and wine. Very, very important for you to know that this island, this region stands out as an unbelievable treasure full of different experiences that are unique, and you would never find them in the mainland Italy and Sicily, and you will understand why. So now let's see how to reach Sardinia. Sardinia has three main airports. Very important to notice that there is an Olbia airport, an Alghero airport, and a Cagliari airport. These three airports are connected through international airlines. When I say international, I mean airlines like, for example, British, Air France, ITA, and many more for having connection through either Paris or London or Munich or Frankfurt, thus allowing you, for your guests, to reach directly the destination without having let's say, the difficulty of going through Rome, checking, taking the luggage and then re-embarking the luggage. Very important, from next year, 2026, we will have a new flight with Delta connecting with New York, so a direct flight. This is very, very important. Now, the biggest of the, no, go back. The biggest two airports are Olbia and Cagliari, but important to know is that Sardinia is connected also by sea. You see in the screen the anchors. The anchors means that Sardinia is connected also by big boats, big ferries that can take about 2,000 people from different ports of mainland, like Civitavecchia, like Livorno, and all the destinations, as you can see, are covered so that you can reach Sardinia also by car. Assuming that your clients take a rented car, they can also reach Sardinia with a rented car by ferry. Let's go on with the information about Sardinia regarding the internal travel. Very, very important for you to know. Sardinia does not have highways or motorways with toll. All the big motorways are no toll, so toll free. There are main motorways that connect Cagliari to the north and to Alghero. Other than that, I have to warn you that Sardinia is connected through, let's say, roads which are so-called statal, which means regionals, but they still very much easy to be driven because traffic in Sardinia is not like the one of the Amalfi Coast. So basically, for those who would like to travel throughout Sardinia, they can easily drive throughout the region. We also plan programs with people that are self sufficient and don't need by us the cars with drivers. So both possibilities are available. So let's go on with our
Uh,
storytelling
Nadia, there
about,
was one question, Nadia.
yes,
For guests who are arriving by ship to Alghero Port as part of a Mediterranean cruise, are you able to help them plan excursions for the day
yes,
and
we
what
are.
kind of
Yes, we
excursions?
are. Yes, we are. With
Yes,
pleasure.
we'll get to the excursion types.
Normally the big cruises arrive in Cagliari, though, so in the southern part. They are starting also to reach the north, but main cruises are reaching Cagliari and the south west part. Okay, so let's move forward. Population. Sardinia is maybe in terms of concentration of population is the less inhabited region. There are only 1.6 million inhabitants throughout the region. And there are also peculiarities to notice. That is, since most of the island is a wild island still today, which makes our, let's say, trips very unique because they still have a lot of traditions of culture which are not contaminated by the big tourism or by the over tourism, apart for certain little areas which are more known, but we cannot speak about over tourism in this region. So they are mostly concentrated in the urban centers or in small towns or scattered around the island areas, mainly close to the sea. Let's go on with our information. What can we advise you? We can advise two bus ways, which I already mentioned before. by car, self-driven, ideal for people really enjoying not only the self-driving, but the freedom, the off-beaten paths, and also, of course, guided itineraries through us with a real full planned trip from the beginning to the end. One thing which we recommend is always to follow, let's say, the, I almost would say, the wishes and the desire of our clients, to really understand what do they figure out about Sardinia, because Sardinia is a place where you can combine sea with the culture, with nature, with food, and you have really to balance because you don't have everything around the corner. You have to plan carefully that the trip has got a pace which is pleasant for your client. This is the rule of the thumb, I know, but especially for Sardinia, you really have to know what we are speaking about. So for the next slides, I will introduce to you also Sara, who is my director of Sardinia My Way. She's a local, very proud of her country, and very, very specific on the traditions. You see already four characteristics about this wonderful, my dream. One little thing before I leave you in the good hands of Sara. I love Sardinia. It is my second home. I always stay a long time during the year in Sardinia because I believe that it is a paradise on earth. When you speak about Africa, then you say, I'm Africa sick. Well, if you know Sardinia, you will become Sardinia sick. So I'll leave it to you, Sarah, with pleasure.
Thank you, Nadia. Really, thank you for the introduction, and thank you everyone for being here. Yes, as Nadia said, I'm a proud Sardinian, proud member of this community. And to answer this question, to go straight forward with some useful information on how to plan the perfect itinerary for our clients, we need to answer this question, when to travel to Sardinia. And it really depends on what your client's expectation and what clients' expectation are and what activities and experiences they want to do in Sardinia. So to help you understand about some key points on weather condition and best activities and consideration for each season, we have made this chart for you. Just to let you know, of course, summer from June to September is the peak season here in Sardinia, but we also need to consider that the temperatures can be very high, especially in July and August, reaching sometimes also 40 Celsius degrees. But therefore, we can say that this period, this season is the perfect one for those clients that just want to relax and enjoy seaside activities, from swimming to sunbathing, of course, and especially yacht and boat tours around the island and around some beautiful, perfect destinations. But for those clients that want to balance, as Nadia was saying, balance seaside activities and cultural activities, we can, of course, suggest a spring and fall season. Especially May and June or September are the ideal months where your clients can still enjoy swimming and snorkeling and diving, with cultural activities that are more into the internal parts of the island, and we'll go deep into it. We also need to consider that at the beginning of November and in winter time, most of the accommodation that are located on the seaside are going to close and reopen in March, but we can guarantee accommodation opportunities, great accommodation opportunities in the main cities such as Cagliari. So talking about accommodation opportunities.
Excuse me to interrupt you, Sarah, but I wanted to add one very important detail. When we say that there are in peak season like August, they might reach 38, 40 degrees. Remember that this type of weather, and this is very important for you to know, is not a humid. The let's say weather is always dry, and on top of that, in Sardinia there is always a light wind. This allows people to enjoy this region in the most beautiful way, because you can enjoy the sun and you don't have the perception of the temperature. I think that myself is one of the people that stay there for a long time. I work from there, and I don't have the perception of heat as we have in other beach destinations. Sorry for having interrupted
Oh,
you,
that's
Sara.
right. That's right, Nadia. Thank you for adding this important detail. It's important, useful information for the audience. We were about to speak about accommodation opportunities, and Sardinia, we can say that offers a large variety, a wide range of accommodation options, starting from the luxury and coast seaside hotel and resorts to countryside estates. But to help you with these details, we have summarized these categories into four. Of course, as I said, coastal beach hotel and resorts. These ones are located on the seaside, and they are focused on direct beach access, and most of them are focusing on luxury services. But for those clients that want to explore the island in a different way, and they want to enjoy a more private and intimate solution, we can of course suggest agriturismi and stazi, which is a traditional type of agriturismo, let's say so, located on northeast Sardinia. But one type of accommodation that I would like to focus on are the historical residences transformed and restored into 5-star accommodation opportunities. We can go from lighthouses dating back to the 1800 to mining structure, again, dating back to the 1800, transformed into 5-star properties, or speaking about Cagliari or Alghero, that means historical places, historical locations. We can find some historical and noble palaces dating back even to the 1700, which were again transformed into beautiful accommodation. And these are the perfect solution for those clients that want to, even with the accommodation option, they want to experience the historical background of the island. And as you will learn, the historical background of Sardinia is completely different from the rest of Italy. And then, of course, we have to mention villas, which are a great opportunity for a group of friends that are traveling together, or large families that want to enjoy more private accommodation. So, as we have already mentioned, Sardinia is a unique destination, speaking of its historical background. And this is, of course, represented by the numerous festivals that Sardinia has and preserves, the rich calendar of festivals that are strongly connected to the religious and cultural aspects of the island. And if we can mention some of the most important ones, the major religious and cultural events, we can, of course, start with the Sant'Efisio procession, which takes place in Cagliari city, so on the capital Sardinia in the south. And it's a 4-day procession. You have to understand that the city of Cagliari is really devoted to this saint who saved the city from the plague in the 1600. And in honor of this saint, they do, since the 1600, they do a procession from the city of Cagliari to the town of Nora, and then going back to the city of Cagliari, where you can find hundreds of people from all around Sardinia, not just just from Cagliari, wearing folk traditional costumes in honor of the saints. And we can go on with the Corsa degli Scalzi, which means the race of the barefoot runners, which is a procession reenacting a historical event of the 1600s. We can go on going north to reach the city of Sassari with the Farada degli Candelieri, which was actually listed as a UNESCO intangible heritage. It's like a dancing procession with this group of men dancing and holding these wooden pillars representing candles, and they are doing this parade in honor of the Virgin Mary. And we can also talk about the Sagra del Redentore happening in Nuoro. So we are talking about the central Sardinia. And again, here you can see groups of different villages, wearing folk costumes, because every village has its own folk costumes. And in this case, they are honoring the Christ, the Redeemer, the statue of the Christ the Redeemer, which is on top of the Mount Ortobene in Nuoro city. And there is a particular type of events that I would like to focus on, which are the carnival and ancient rites. So as you can see, we have two examples here. One is Sardinia, which takes place in Oristano city on central west coast of the island. And it's a equestrian tournament, which takes place during carnival period, reenacting a medieval equestrian tournament. And as you can see, the people have to, these horse riders have to run at full speed, try to spare this silver star, wearing a white mask. Because in this moment, when they're doing this a particular type of ritual, they are more resemble to deities than to mankind. We can say the same for the Mamutones e Zojadores mask. They belong to the central part of Sardinia, specifically to the village of Mamoiada. And in this case, we have to go back to hundreds and hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago, actually, before Christianity arrived in Sardinia, because these are ancestral rituals strongly connected to millennia of years ago, to agricultural rituals. And it's like a dancing ritual where these masks are trying to reawaken nature for the new cycle, the new life cycle. So probably you already have heard about the historical and archaeological importance of Sardinia, but let me tell you that, again, Sardinia had a completely different historical background than Italy, mostly because Sardinia had its own population, its own culture, which we'll see later. And just to give you an idea, what are you seeing in this picture is the archaeological site of Tarros, placed on central west coast of the island. And most importantly, you are seeing one of the statues of the giants of Monte Prama. And these are prehistoric statues. They date back, there are more than 40 statues dating back to 3,000 years ago. And they are actually representing the Nuragic civilization. So when we talk about the Nuragic civilization, we talk about a culture native to Sardinia, who dates back to 3,000 years ago, so prehistoric time, who lived in Sardinia for almost 1,000 years before the Carthaginian and the Romans arrived. And the name of this population, the Nuragic civilization, comes from the word nuraghe. So we talk about this stone structure that you can see here in the picture. A stone structure that are really unique. And the Nuragic civilization realized more than 8,000 archaeological sites all around Sardinia, not just the stone structure and villages, but we also have to consider worship places and tombs, of course. But before the Nuragic civilization lived in Sardinia 3,000 years ago, the native population of 5,000 years ago created something unique. Unfortunately, we do not have villages and examples of this period, but we do have the funerary architecture of this population. This particular type of tomb is called Domus de Janas, which means the house of fairies. And you have to think about more than 3,500 tombs like this all around Sardinia. They were carved in the rock, and we are speaking about the Neolithic time, so there was no metal discovered, and they created all this type of funerary architecture throughout the island. This map is just to help you understand about the archaeological density of the island. And all the dots that you see here are actually only referring to the prehistoric sites that we said. We are not considering in this map the Roman period, the medieval period, or the Carthaginian period. And just to give you an idea about the also the cultural activities that the clients can do.
Sarah, I just wanted to add a few words because
Yes.
many of you who are very knowledgeable about Rome history, about the ancient history of mainland Italy, might not know that Sardinia is a kind of mixture, but also a kind of consider house which has been built one above the other. In fact, being an island was influenced by many conquered who conquered different parts of Sardinia. And that's the reason why in Sardinia you find, as Sala perfectly explained, the 3,000 years ago, but you find also a lot of Roman remains because the Romans were the ones to construct aqueducts, theaters, and left their heritage in Sardinia as well. But there is also a lot of influence that you will see when Sarah goes on with the experiences that we are providing for you. There are a lot of influences, for example, by the Spanish culture. In fact, in the northeast west part, in the city of Alghero, consider that they speak not only the Algherese, which is a special language of Sardinian, but they also speak Spanish. And their, for example, the food is influenced by the Spanish food. So this means that it is a country to discover with all the type of cultures that you would not even find mainland Rome or Etruscan. You don't find Etruscan, for example, very much here. So it's another type of development, which is very interesting, especially for those who have seen already the catacombs, for example, or who have seen other historic buildings in other parts of Italy. Thank you very much.
That's true, Nadia. We are actually, we can for sure say that we are a mixture of cultures. And you said perfectly that there are a lot of Spanish influences on food, religious rituals, and so on, because Sardinia was part of Spain until the 1700s. So that's why we say that Sardinia had a completely different background rather than the other parts of Italy. Let's go on with another important part of our Sardinian past, because we talked a lot about our archaeologic and especially about prehistoric archaeological sites, but we also need to mention about the industrial archaeology, specifically referring to the southwest area, which is called Sulcis Iglesiente, and this refers to an important area for Sardinia, where clients and where you can find oldest rocks and geological formation, not just of Sardinia, but of whole Italy. And therefore, it was an important mining territory for silver, lead, and zinc. And right now, you can see this structure, this really interesting structure dating back to the mining situation of 1800 and 1900 that right now are, of course, a tourist attraction. So Probably you already know, but Nadia already explained that Sardinia is especially in the internal parts, really wild. So if we have to say why choose Sardinia for the next travel destination, we can of course mention the wild nature and its pristine beaches. And we have summarized for you some of the important marine protected areas and national parks that Sardinia has that can of course represent a great destination for your clients. We can start with the archipelago of La Maddalena National Park on the northeast part of Sardinia, as you can see on the red dot. It's probably the most popular destination for those clients that are searching and they are staying in Costa Smeralda, again in northeast side. Perfect destination for boat excursion and yacht excursions. But we can of course mention the Asinara National Park too, which is on the opposite part, on the northwest part. It was actually a former high security prison. Right now it's a national park. When nobody lives there, you can explore the island by bike or hikings and so on. And you can also explore the wildlife of Asinara Island. For example, the famous white donkeys that are roaming throughout the island. We go on with another great destination for those clients that are selecting the Northeast area for their next vacation. And we can, of course, mention the Tavolara National Park and marine protected area, of course, perfect for diving and snorkeling activities. And we can go on the opposite side. We can go to discover on central west part of Sardinia, the marine protected area of the Sinis Peninsula. If you remember the picture of the archaeological sites where we talked about Tarros and the giants of Monte Prama, just to let you know, this is the location, the central west Sinis Peninsula is the location where all these archaeological monuments and finds are located. So to give you an idea, great location, great destination for clients that are more into the wild aspects of Sardinia. Probably this is the less known area of the island, becoming more popular because of the archaeological sites. So yes, we can say that with this location, clients can balance and do seaside activities and archaeological and cultural activities. If you can see the picture here, these are my hands holding the particular type of sand of the Sinis Peninsula, which is composed by quartz. And it looks like rice, as you can see. We go south.
Yeah, we have a quick question about like hiking. Do you have like that? Looks like I would want to hike it as well. Is there hiking opportunities besides flat on the beach hiking?
You mean in Tavolara?
Oh, in Sardinia?
Yeah, in Sardinia, yes. It's, for example, we can talk about the Gennargentu National Park. This is the perfect location, not only for hiking, but also for trekkers and climbers, if this is one of the activities our clients are searching for. It's the wildest and more internal part of the island with limestone cliffs, and especially this part, the north, the central east part, you can go from high mountains to cliffs that are plunging into the turquoise water of East Sardinia. So yes, Sardinia can offer that too. As you can see from this picture, also the Porto Conte National Park, which is on the northwest, can answer to your question. Great location for hikers and for trekkers, and these parts can be experienced by boat, or they can be experienced, of course, by land. Yeah.
Sarah, can we go back a while onto the previous? Yeah. So I just wanted to this one where there is the blue zone, the one of the blue zone.
This one.
Okay. So to answer the question of the hiking and biking and trekking, you have a lot of places where you can do that, both for beginners, but also for experienced people. Consider that this Canyon Gurropu is the deepest canyon in Europe
That's right.
that you wouldn't imagine, but it's really unbelievable. So around this area, which is the internal part of Sardinia, you'll find also, and I want to spend a few words about this because it's very interesting, the so-called blue route or blue zone, where a lot of people who are really over 110 years old. And this is an area which is really, really, they call blue zone because of the very important value of this population, which has been researched and studied by the whole scientists of the world. So they still have, let's say, recognized that the quality of life, the food, and hard work are among the longevity factors. So this was just to improve the answer of to the question of biking and hiking.
Yeah. If I can say something more, I would think that also other parts that you wouldn't think they're a perfect destination for hikers, for beginners, like those clients that are searching gentle hiking solutions. Sardinia has a lot to offer, also close to the urban areas. And we have, for example, the example of the Molentargius Saline Natural Park, which is really close to the city of Cagliari. It's a huge pond, which is the habitat of different birds, such as the flock of flamingos. And these birds have chose this particular location close to the city and close to the streets to rest and to nest. And of course, for those clients that are not very keen into difficult paths of the Supramonte, also the urban area can offer this solution. We go on. Again, other two examples of the natural habitat and the wildlife habitats of in Sardinia. Briefly saying that in South Sardinia, there is a protected area where clients can discover the Sardinian deer, a native animal of the island. And of course, the Jara Plateau, where there are the last surviving wild horses of Europe. We talk about, again, now, we talk about the Sardinian cuisine, because it's a really important aspect that we need to consider for clients, and we need to set expectations, of course, about Sardinian cuisine. We can say that Sardinian cuisine, it's not monolithic. As it is an island, of course, the internal parts do have a lot of pastoral roots and pastoral cuisine, together with the seasides with particular and unique recipes that we will see later. But as you can see from this slide, Sardinia has a strong pasta and bread tradition, which we can say is different from the cooking classes, to say so, that clients can discover in the other regions of Italy, because these recipes, these pasta types are more connected to the shapes of nature, and they're not involving like the rolling pins and so on, but they're more manually realized. And also interesting to notice that sometimes all these types of pasta only consider two main ingredients, so wheat or semolina and water. Very, very rarely we see the use of eggs, for example, also because the egg was a product for richer people, and the poor people that had to prepare pasta for all the community normally used only the two ingredients that were easy to find. We said that
one second, always as a non-Sardinian, but an adopted Sardinian. I have to tell you that with my experience, when we propose a cooking class in Sardinia, people are a little reluctant. Why that? Because They have made lots of cooking classes all around Italy, preparing tagliatelle, preparing ravioli, and all of that. I would say this is a completely different experience because it's more artistic. You can already see from the picture the quality of the type of preparations that they do. It is something which is very much connected to the not only the traditions, but the traditions are arising from also the religious thought, and they do have together with for example, artisan works, the filigrane in gold, for example, everything stands out and comes from the religious thinking and the religious festivals. So they have also a preparation which is different from different periods of the year. Um, and it is really a really unique experience that you don't find anywhere else.
Thank you, Nadia. Just a brief introduction to the pastoral recipes. As said, the internal parts, this is more common to the internal parts, and especially to those parts who Nadia was introducing as the blue zone, the part of Sardinia where people live longer and healthier lives. And of course, the main dishes include sheep, also pecorino, as you can see, or the roasted suckling pig, or for example, this one, sagodra, it's made of the lamb intestine. So of course, mainly based on these two animals. But we have to say, as we are an island, some parts of the island, especially the southwest, has a strong tuna fishing tradition, especially the island of Carloforte, placed in southwest of Sardinia. And again, going to central west, there is what we call the gold of Cabras, or probably the gold of Sardinia. If you have heard about it, it's bottarga. So we speak about the salted and cured mullet roe, and it's really a delicacy that has made Sardinia famous. Speaking of cuisine. And also, laughing about it, I have to admit that Sardinian do transform everything into an alcoholic beverages. For example, the most famous liqueur that you might have heard of is, of course, Mirto, the picture up on the left. But Sardinian alcoholic beverages are really connected to the Mediterranean vegetation. We can find timo liqueur or helichrysum liqueur, the yellow flower that you see here. So it's actually really interesting to see how everything that was in the island was transformed and reused for different purposes. And we have, of course, to say that Sardinia is a really interesting destination for the wine lovers because there are native grapes, for example, Carignano, Cannonau, Vernaccia, and other types of grapes that are native to Sardinia, and also going back with its finds, to say so, to 1,000 years, like Cannonau. So we can actually do and offer wine tours to explore the different varieties, which can be produced only in certain areas. For example, Carignano refers to the southwest, Cannonau refers to the central part, Vernaccia to the central west, and so on. So every area of Sardinia has its own and native grape, and it's also interesting to understand this part. And from the last process of wine making, we also realize we also produce a spirit known as fileferro. This means iron wire, because when this was produced, they had to distill it in secret, and normally they had to hide it underground, and usually only the iron wire would be exposed to be found later, of course. So this is to give you an idea about the traditional wines and liqueurs of the island. Nadia, would you like to summarize all the target client personas that they're perfect for a Sardinia destination? Nadia?
Sure. Thank you
Yeah.
very much for presenting the above. And I have to say that this summary that we made takes advantage of all type of clientele. Very important. In Sardinia, we must have just luxury people that would like to stay at the beach, then let's say forget internal areas or other areas of Sardinia, but just send them to the Emerald Coast, and then from there we can organize some of the experiences, driving between 40 to 1 hour. But having the most beautiful hotels in Europe, and also having the pristine seas and a lot of shopping. Like in Porto Cervo, Porto Rotondo, you find all the international brands. Then you have cultural deep divers. Of course, we can mix up both things, but you can also build one cultural trip only. And I would say for this, you would need to combine all the activities a couple of weeks to do very well Sardinia from south clockwise. And for you can also combine or have just trips for sport people with lots of adventures in hiking, trekking, climbing, biking, diving, snorkeling, and all these more action activities. Then very interesting aspect that you can consider, especially for your young people, clients and honeymooners, or for the new generations, you can consider to offer also motorcycle tours, because everywhere you can rent a Vespa or a motorbike, and we can create itinerary which are unbelievable along the coast and to admire the panoramic scenes. Of course, last but not least, the wine routes and the food routes. Everything of these five aspects can be combined together. Of course, you cannot think of going to Sardinia as let's say a side trip, like offering 3 days, because it's not really worth to go to Sardinia for 3 days only. You can combine Sardinia with, for example, trips done in Rome or Naples or other areas of Italy, since all the Italian airports are connected with Sardinia. But I will not advise to stay less than 4-5 nights. Ideal, as I said, is 12 to 15 days. Here we have divided, literally in a figurative way, the different areas of Sardinia. As I mentioned, northeast is the Emerald Coast, and then you have La Maddalena, that it is one of my favorite area, I have to say. The heart beats very much for me there, because it's a totally wild area, a few cars only, and unbelievable beaches that you can reach only walking or with boats. Then you have the northwest, that we said very much influenced from the Spanish culture, the wonderful central west, where also Sarah comes from, with the fantastic, amazing cultural and archaeological remain of Taros, the southwest with the industrial area, post-industrial area, archaeological industrial area, the south with Cagliari and the beaches east, the east and the central east, where I mentioned having also the blue zone.
And Nadia and Sarah, can you stay on that slide? We have a few questions I've been saving for them.
Sure.
Yes,
Yes.
Sure.
Janine would like to know if you were to go to Costa Smeralda or the south, what are the options to get there and how far is the drive?
The drive is about 4 hours. You can drive, and that's the only solution, either yourself or by car with a driver, because unfortunately trains are not so good in Sardinia like the rest of the regions of Italy. So that's the only way, or you can go by boat, but in that case you have to rent a boat, which we do for 2 or 3 days, to have longer tours, which is not only one day. I have to say we have very many types of yachts, sailing boats, and also more simple boats. But of course, in this case, you have to spend 3 nights with a yacht, which has also cabins.
We can also consider helicopter transfer
Yeah, excuse me, I forgot that. Thank you very much.
No, no problem.
Much
Thank
faster.
you.
Much
That you
faster.
can do in a day, of course, but we all know how much expensive that can be. We also, I would add to that that one now we have very wealthy people, which we have very many, I have to say, in the Emerald Coast. Many of them who do not want to drive, to go by car, even though they have a driver. They do tours also in the inside the part of the central part of Sardinia by helicopter. We had our last clients which did a week every day in this way without driving but moving by helicopter was 3 weeks ago, and it was amazing because we could land like in a winery, or it's pretty interesting. And Sardinia has a concentration of very high-end transportation, helicopters, very, I have seen in Sardinia helicopters that are worth 30 million euro. When I was at the landing space about 1 month ago, it's unbelievable what you can see there, because it's an incredible variety of those helicopters concentrated there.
And do you know how long the helicopter ride is from one of the main airports to
20,
the
30 minutes.
Great. Now, you ladies have been presenting. The chat room has been blowing up this entire time. There's so much questions. So one is it not possible to take the train from OLB to CAG?
It's not possible because the railways are horrible.
And
I
it will
shouldn't
take,
say, but
that's
they
true.
are very local. They connect the small villages, and they are very, the trains of a few years ago, there is not a rail net as we have of quick speed in other regions of Italy, because they actually, this is an emerging country, and emerging in terms not of ignorance, my gosh, in terms of, let's say, opening to the world. So I think they will do a lot, but I hope they will not, because I think the beauty and this really strong point of Sardinia, is its wilderness, its unicity, still to be there with people who also are different. People from Sardinia are, first of all, beautiful. You can see Sara as a good example, but they are special. They're stubborn. They are so proud of their culture. And I mean, I have to tell you a short story, even if we're running out of time, but I think it's important. As I said, I spend every year, because I lived 5 years in Italy, and then since then, every summer I go there, and I am really in contact with them as not only friends, they're brothers and sisters. And when I met Sara, Sara was with us, with Amedeo, my young business partner, and myself, and I fell in love with this girl. I literally fell in love with this girl, and she became. I was so proud that I did her. I asked her to join Italy My Way. I explained the project because I was already working in Sardinia, but I wanted to have something there in order to really understand what Sardinia is. And the other girl that we have also with Sara and the others, they are really not only good hard workers, but they are friends. And you will see how this is gonna happen with your clients.
That's great. And Amber would like to know if a client wishes to spend 3 nights in the north and 3 nights in the south, would it be best to hire a car and driver to take them between the two?
It depends.
They can do both. They can do both, depending on budget. Because of course,
Yeah.
as you know, hiring a car is very inexpensive. You can take a car in the Olbia airport and giving it back in Cagliari. Or if you want to go, I have to say that the cost of the transportation, although being so luxury and high end, I do think that the comparison is in favor of Sardinia. The price, apart from Emerald Coast, which is a world apart, all the other areas are much less expensive. Yes, we do provide commissions. We can work either net or gross. Can you turn the page? Yes. So you can see the way that Sardinia My Way works. Analysis of your lead, questions for lead clarification, budget with itemized lines, technical presentation, and I don't know which system you use, if Access, Travefy, or others. We send a lot of information, a lot of assistance. We're very clear in the terms and conditions. We provide you with hotel policies, with bar pricing, and we give amenities. I mean, we're very flexible. We want to work with you.
Now, we do have 2 guests that spent their honeymoons there.
Oh,
Wonderful. They know the island very nicely. We do have a question from Gina, though. If she were to plan her clients for 14 days, what time of year would you recommend?
June.
Voila.
But I have to tell you, if you have the intention to plan a trip, do it now before the price go up for the hotels, because they might go up very, very quickly.
Okay, perfect.
September as well, yes. September as well is good as well. September has, in my opinion, this is my opinion, and I'm not in combination with anyone who provides the weather. In September, there are always some storms. So best of the best to me is June and July, if I have to choose.
And Amber said that she found that most hotels have not released their rates yet for summer.
Ask us.
Yeah. You need the
We provide
insider.
you the pricing. We have secret sources.
Okay. So if you check in the chat room, I've just sent the Slido poll for our quiz. So if you go ahead and click on the blue button that says open, that will open the poll for you, and you can create.
We lost Julian.
I think so.
Well, in that case, I wish you a wonderful day. and Sardinia My Way together with Italy My Way is available also to answer questions or to analyze leads. Whatever you need, you can address to me. I'll write down here our mails. That's Sara at Sardinia.
I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened.
Oh, okay, you were here.
Welcome back,
I
Julian.
was
I was here
talking.
and then I was gone. The joys of doing
I
this
was entertaining. I was
from a hotel room.
entertaining.
Yes. Okay, so I'll start the quiz right now. And thank you. The first question, which famous Sardinian national park is known today as a pristine natural reserve for white wild donkeys, but historically served as a high security prison until the 1990s? Is it the Gulf of Orosai? And oh my gosh, these names. Is it Molentarguillos, La Magdalena, or Asinara National Park? And the answer is Asinara National Park. The next question, what is the name of the prehistoric native civilization that constructed the unique stone fortresses, which are considered the iconic symbol of Sardinia's ancient heritage? Is it Roman, Punic, Phoenician, or Nuragic? All right, and the answer was the Nuragic, and let's reveal. Alfina is in the lead by 2 seconds above Nina. Next question. Which of the following is an extremely rare hand-pulled Sardinian pasta known for its intricate texture, often called God's threads? Filindau, mayoredes, gulurgiones, or fregula? And the answer is filindeu. How do you say it, Sarah?
Filindeo.
Filindeu. Okay,
Yeah.
next question.
Which means the
What
threads
special
of God.
What specialty product derived from cured salted mullet roe is considered the iconic symbol of Sardinian fishing traditions? Sedas, botarga, pecorino sardo, or sacotra? Oh, wow. Everyone has the same idea.
It is also known as gold eggs.
Okay, and that was correct answer was botarga. And Afina is still in the lead. Oh, she is clear in the lead with Nina behind her by 11 seconds. The next question. The famous 4-day, 65-kilometer Santa Fisio procession is one of the longest in Italy. Traditionally starts and ends in which Sardinian city? Sassari, Alghero, Cagliari, or Oristano? Ooh, lots of different choices. And the correct answer was Cagliari. Next question. What is the powerful traditional Sardinian spirit whose name literally translates to iron wire, referring to its history of being secretly distilled and hidden? Is it Cananao, Vermentino, Filu e Veru, or Mirto? And the correct answer was File Veru. And oh, Cassandra is jumped ahead with Nina in second place, and Alfina has dropped to third. The next question. Which specific destination in Sardinia is exclusively targeted for the luxury client persona, known for its glamour, yachting, and elite services? Is it Alghero, Costa Smeralda, Cagliari, or Villasinis? Oh, 100% chose the same answer. Costa Smeralda. Next question. How many airports serve Sardinia as primary gateways for tourists? 2, 3, 4, or 5? Ooh. 2 answers have been selected, and the correct answer is 3. And let's see, Cassandra is still in the lead. And the next question. What is the signature red wine of Sardinia, known for its strong cultural link to the longevity of the island's inhabitants? Is it Vermentino, Carignano, Vernaccia, or Cananao? Oh, goodness. Lots of guesses. And the answer is Cananao. And the last question for all the marbles. Sardinian archaeology is unique for its sites of industrial archaeology. Which former mining area is a key example of this heritage? Is it Taros, Asinara Island, Susis Iglesiente, or Ganagintu National Park? And the last answer is Sulcis Iglesiente in Southwest Sardinia. And let's see, the winner of today's destination webinar is Cassandra Metzger with 7 out of 10 correct. Fantastic. Congratulations. I will be in touch with you about your prize. And we would like to thank everybody for joining us today. And we look forward to seeing you at our next webinar, which honestly is in 1 hour. If anyone is interested in learning about our newest exclusive resort in Torres Pande in Positano, please join me again in 1 hour. Otherwise, I'll send this recording and then I will send Sara and Nadia all of your contact information and all of our notes from our chat room so that you'll get everything that you have requested. All right, we look forward to seeing you at the next webinar. Thank you, Sara and Nadia. We appreciate this. Everyone loves it and they're
It
ready
was
to
a pleasure.
they're sending people your way. You don't even know. They're already booking. Okay.
Thank you
Okay.
again.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.